Hello everyone and welcome back to our next episode of A Candle or the Night, a Star Wars actual play podcast, where we feature an ongoing campaign in the Force and Destiny system by Fantasy Flight Games. Last time we left our heroes amidst their first major engagement with the Empire, which has been dubbed the Battle of Spinax. This is the continuation of that episode. I hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. We just got back from my first trip to Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, and it was amazing. Got to ride the Rise of the Resistance. Had to get up at 6 in the morning to get on that ride, but it was totally worth it. I would definitely plan to check that out, as it is unlike any attraction you have been on before, I can guarantee that. But yeah, I'm still in wonder from our experience at Galaxy's Edge. We had a great time. We did Oga's Cantina, built a lightsaber, Smuggler's Run, the whole gamut. It was awesome. But now, back to work and back to our show. So, put in the usual plugs. If you're enjoying the show, we would very much appreciate you guys leaving a 5-star review. It helps us greatly. Also, we welcome your feedback. Shoot us an email at feedback@candleorthenight.com. You can check out our artwork from the campaign, including maps and scenery artwork, character artwork, and such, on our website, www.candleorthenight.com. That wraps it up for announcements. Let's jump on into the episode.
Hello, Star Wars fans. Tonight we are speaking about fetishes.
We'd like to give a warm invitation to the CBT community.
A warm, velvety invitation.
A warm and smooth invitation.
The untrammeled brow.
Like two river rocks swinging in a silk handkerchief.
And this is where I'm going to steer us on track. So, okay, we're going to begin. We are on episode/session 22. Last session, we were triggering the morality for Jensa's character. Until this entire section is concluded, we are still involved in that. So, Jensa, we haven't resolved that for your character yet, but once this section of the story is done, this particular battle, that will be resolved for you. The other thing is leadership, which is a skill we do not use very much, but this particular past 2 episodes will show you guys what you can use leadership for. So we are in the middle of a mass combat, and we kind of discussed last time that leadership allows you, when you make the mass combat check to resolve a major battle, your ranks in leadership, if you are the leader, upgrade the ability of your dice rolls. But for instance, Jensa, you were flying in the ship involved in a space battle last time, and you were using squad rules where you had a wing of X-Wing fighters kind of assisting you. And I was not controlling them or making attacks with them, but their presence around you was giving you certain bonuses. Normally in those rules, for you to change between one formation or another that gives you, instead of say a boost dice on your attacks, it gives you defense, you actually have to make a leadership check as a maneuver to instruct the squad on what to do. I'm omitting that for this time we're using it because I'm introducing this mechanic to you guys for the first time. So this particular combat, you get to sort of use your squad rules for free, sort of just changing them every turn if you want to. After this session, in the future, it's going to require leadership checks to instruct squads or people assisting you on what to do. That would also apply to staff you might hire if you own a business, apprentices if you're training someone, companions or hirelings, etc. Yeah. Let's all roll our force dice to determine the destiny pool, please.
Albie, my
Look at me leading the
my
pack with my dark side
characteristics-
point. Oh, sweet.
Woohoo!
my characteristics on the game are not updated.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cheat you.
Cheater.
So
Let's
my
see. Oh yeah, I didn't increase either of them. Sorry. That should be fixed now.
Oh man, all these dark side.
Oh man!
As
all these
usual.
dark-
Hey, I did good. I got
Yeah,
two
nothing
light
new there.
chain. So thus, everybody has dark side points. Jensa rolled the only. Well, I'm not the only. Me and who else? Me and Victor were the only good guys this session. Usually, I always roll all the dark side points, so this totally works.
And I thoroughly appreciate you filling up my tank of dark side points. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yay,
Pivotal
shit-
battle.
Shit's gonna break randomly.
Do we have any?
Native stuff.
Do we have any conflict to resolve this time that we didn't last time? Anybody's character sheet have conflict on it that we didn't address?
I feel like the
Not me.
situation is conflicting for my character
I have none.
Awesome.
without
Okay.
having any conflict.
Kip is unable to actively use the force, so he doesn't generate conflict yet.
At this
All right,
point in time, my
so-
obligation is going down dramatically because I just destroyed a shit ton of TIE fighters.
All right, so two other small reminders. They don't apply right now because you guys haven't really had any downtime because you're in the middle of a war. But
We've never had downtime.
well, you're going to. Jensa, you still have to. Jensa and Tyrus, you still have ongoing
We
roles
still gotta
for
dump a package off and go to
You
that
do.
freaking bounty hunters thing. So
Jensa
I mean, we have
and
flight
Tyrus
time.
still need to roll for learning Siriwook because they're trying to do that. And then all of you guys involved in the crate virus research that Victor hatched up the idea for. You'll be making rolls for that when you have downtime. So I'm putting that out there so you can remind me at that time. And lastly, I am mentioning our website again. It's www.candleorthenight.com, and our email is feedback@candleorthenight.com. All right, so now that we got all that good stuff done, we'll do our recap and jump in. Okay, so recapping our session number 21 from last time. Aboard the Rebel medical frigate Tenacity and the Spinax system, the Empire has seemingly gotten the drop on the Rebels. The party watches in shock as Moff Alkin's form presents in a hologram over the bridge and announces his intention to apprehend the medical frigate. It appears the timing of the party's arrival was unfortunate as the Star Destroyer, the Intrepid Will, corners the crippled frigate and closes in for the kill. Commander Straith apologizes for his rash behavior, which rubbed Jensa the wrong way. Probably all of you the wrong way. And he makes an impassioned plea to Jensa to continue to consider helping the rebels stall the attack long enough for repairs to be made to the hyperdrive. He reveals the true nature of Dr. Bendix's device, a cloaking device that can mask a force signature of force-sensitive individuals. He points out this invention may create a tomorrow where force-sensitive people like Jensa and the party no longer have to live life on the run, but instead can proceed unmolested and undetected by the Empire. He also invites you to imagine what lethal uses the Empire could make of such technology for assassination, espionage, and ambush. The party decides to help the rebels, since Master Nguyen's critical state is too fragile to attempt to evacuate him from the medical frigate.
Otherwise, I would go.
Otherwise,
I would
Jensa
pack
would run.
my Jedi Master in a box and go.
The party splits into teams to attempt to act as efficiently as possible. Jensa, Victor, and Ishwar decide to lead an X-Wing squadron in space combat against an incoming TIE swarm. Bior and Kip remain on board the medical frigate to assist in repairs and reviving the crew. The first wave of the mass engagement proceeds with 3 squadrons of TIE fighters attempting to swarm the rebels. Through ace piloting and crack gunnery, the Errant Seeker and its X-Wing escort expertly dispatch the entire squadron, just as the Intrepid Will draws closer to one of the Mon Calamari cruisers, which decided to stay behind to slow the inexorable advance of the Imperials. Aboard the medical frigate, Bior revives key engineering support teams which had been injured in their previous battles, and these teams immediately go to Kip's aid in repairing the hyperdrive. He also revived key leadership personnel who were able to provide a morale boost on the upcoming engagements. Kip miraculously salvages parts from transports in the hangar and creates a jury-rigged relay in the damaged hyperdrive. The acting chief engineer is so shocked that he relinquishes command of his team to Kip's lead. Commander Straith also offers the party the assistance of a key rebel asset, a droid named L3T0. At this moment, proximity sensors alert oncoming transports that threaten enemy boarding parties, as wings of TIE bombers leave the Star Destroyer and move towards the Mon Calamari cruiser. Though the rebels celebrate their first stunning success against seemingly hopeless odds, the threat begins to intensify. The Battle of Spinax is far from over. And at this point, we are going to take a moment and resolve something for Tyrus. Tyrus, you wake on a table. And as you look around you, you see the inside of what looks like some sort of medical facility with extremely advanced technology. Perhaps something akin to what you had seen when you first met Eladir in the tower on Varia Prime. And as you awake, you kind of forget how you got there for a moment, but as you stop and gather your senses and work your way backwards, you kind of recall being on the Errant Seeker when they first landed on the Rebel medical frigate, and you were supposed to stay on the ship while the others went to speak to the commander. And the last thing you remember, after sort of speaking out loud that you were interested in proceeding with this surgery for a cybernetic implant, to which at first you got no response that you were aware of. The last thing you remember is getting up and walking from your bunk into the lounge area of the ship, and as you pass the verge, you remember suddenly being somewhere else, disorienting, not quite sure why. And as you review the events in your memory, you remember Eladir being there and describing to you in detail what you were agreeing to, specifically having a cybernetic implant placed. Something akin mechanically in the game to a cybernetic droid brain, which you'd find in the books, but we put some special features on it. And it signified your willingness to move forward in your training with him. And after he kind of described to you the process of the surgery, you underwent the procedure, and you are now awake. And as you sit forward, you feel on the top of your forehead and above your right brow, and believe me, there's plenty of space on that forehead, so it fits in nicely, but above your right brow, there's a small sort of sleek plating that you can see just on the surface of the skin. It's not very large. There are some small things on it you feel with your fingers. You can't quite look at yourself yet, but there's something there. And you feel no pain. And in a moment, a bulkhead or door opens, and Eladir walks in, and he says to you, "Tyrus, how do you feel?"
A bit disoriented.
Yes, that's normal. Not in pain, are you? I take it.
No pain, just questions.
Well, the surgery was successful. You have a implant which you can now use for a variety of tasks. The acuity of your intellect should be greater. It will assist you in matters of calculations and science of any nature. Most importantly, however, it matches the unit in your weapon. And although you'll be using the Force to direct your weapon, you'll now better understand its position in space at all times due to the interaction of this implant with its position sensor in your weapon, which will enable you to wield it with a degree of dexterity even though it may not always be in your hand. We'll get more onto that later. I have business I need to attend to, and I've kept you here long enough. Is there anything you need from me before I send you back?
This implant is indeed a powerful gift. How will I learn to control and increase my ability?
It's not just a gift, Tyrus. It's a responsibility, of course. I challenge you not only to go and seek out new knowledge, but to find responsible ways to use it to better the lives of others. We will, when time permits, I will train you as best I can in how to use these skills. For now, I'm afraid you're going to have to try and use the basics of them on your own. You already know how to sense things with the Force. In this case, you will have a natural understanding of your weapon's position at any time, as long as it's not too far from you, mostly due to the implant. However, as you learn to apply your Force skills to that, you'll be able to control it. When you try the first few times, you'll begin to understand, and I do apologize I don't have more time to go over this with you now, but there are some pressing issues that are calling me away, and I have a feeling, given the moment I took you from, your friends probably need you as well.
Very well.
And I also urge you, Tyrus, remember, the crystal in your weapon is more than an average crystal. Take time to listen for when it speaks to you. I'll be in touch. And before you can even say anything, he turns to leave, but as he does, you get this moment of terrible vertigo where you feel like the room is spinning for a second and you might vomit. But you spin around, you kind of feel like you're spinning around, and when you open your eyes again, you're in a hangar bay. Which, as you recall, was the hangar bay that you could see through the gangway that you had landed on in the Rebel Frigate. And at the moment, it seems to be a flurry of activity. There's people running around trying to sort of repair damaged areas. There's fueling of vessels. They're trying to get damaged X-Wings off, and you're beginning to hear alarms throughout the ship.
Of my compatriots.
And at this point, I will put out to the rest of you, we are picking up right where you left off before. Jensa and crew of the Errant Seeker, you have just completed the first wave of attack from the Star Destroyer. And as you do that, right as you do that, no sooner than you can celebrate for a moment, but you see a wave of additional fighters leaving the Intrepid Will. And when you look more carefully as they get closer, what you see before you is a group of TIE bombers. You might not recognize them as such, but they're different looking TIE fighters, a bit larger.
I believe I passed my knowledge warfare check to know. You
did, that's right, you did. So you would recognize them as TIE bombers carrying proton torpedoes. There are 3 of them. Each of them has a wing of TIE fighters escorting them. And much like you are following squad rules, a similar thing will apply here. Mechanically speaking, if you directly engage the TIE bomber without dealing with the escort first, you may take damage in the attempt to attack, depending on how many threat or such that you roll. And the attack is more difficult if you're trying to hit the bomber through its escort without dealing with the escort first. In addition to that, you also see a different looking TIE fighter with angled wing sections flying out from the Intrepid Will as well. Now the bombers are heading in a direct course for the Mon Calamari cruiser, which had broken off with you guys to create added time.
Well, I guess we gotta. I mean, do we have space to safely attempt to deal with their escort before dealing with them, or?
The way that mechanically you can handle it is they will all be traveling together as a unit. You can, of course, time is of the essence in these engagements. If a certain number of rounds pass, then this particular phase is over. So, however you can most efficiently remove that threat, whether you want to risk attacking them directly and ignoring the escort, or if you want to take the additional time to take down the escorts first. That will be for you guys to decide.
If we do decide to peg off the escort, could you give us a halfway point warning? Because we might change tactics in the middle if we can't. I think the smart move would be to attempt to deal with their escort and then the bombers. But if we're failing to do that, we should probably just shift priorities.
And here's where things get more interesting. After the first round, I'm having all of you roll 1 force dice. If you roll more dark than light, the doom clock, so to speak, moves forward. And if you basically roll 3 primarily dark side results, 3 rounds, then this particular phase is over. If you don't, if you roll more light than dark, you get an extra round.
Actually, you know what? This is like a
All of
force
us are doing
moment.
this?
Yeah, all players will be rolling this because it controls the pace of the entire phase for everybody.
Got it.
Quick question for the combat. Since we have 2 weapons, would we be able to have, like, say, Jensa focus on fighters while I use the turret to try and shoot the bombers?
Yes, you, of course, can choose your target every time you make a combat check.
Sweet, we can do it that way. Since this is a dramatic point for my character as far as her career development goes, and not cutting and running and actually staying the course for something, can I attempt to foresee?
Well, if I'm not mistaken, you can use that power at any time for an action.
Should I go for the bombers or should I go for the escort?
Oh, well, since a lot of this is tied to the randomness of dice rolls, that is hard for me to...
know.
Yeah, it's hard for me to give you an accurate foretelling of. I don't even know how this is going to work out because there's...
Could I get a boost for foreseeing before a combat?
Is that part of the mechanics of what you have in 4C so far?
I'm not sure. I'd have to look.
Because I think there is an upgrade for that, but I don't think you have that yet.
It might be.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, you have a strength
think you
upgrade to
probably
pick out specific details. Now, in this case, normally I'm very open to let you use 4C and give you whatever.
There's too much randomness.
There's
for me
too
to
much
be able to
randomness for
tell.
me to even know what is going to work out. So I think you're going to have to kind of see how it flows. Now, I've given you in a nutshell the mechanics of how the space combat will work. For those of you on the frigate, you are currently, just describe how that will work for you guys. Kip, you have this particular phase to continue trying to repair the hyperdrive. For you to do that, you're going to be making mechanics checks. Now, in order to successfully repair the hyperdrive, you need to get 15 total successes. Any net failures, meaning if you roll and you get like a bunch of failures and no successes, can deduct from that total.
Got it.
If you roll more than 1 threat, if you roll 1 threat, you just handle threats like usual in terms of boost or setback dice. If you roll 2 threat or greater, including a despair, you're going to make a D10 roll for a hazard table where something unexpected is going to happen.
I have a. Are there any setback dice?
There is going to be. Okay, so your challenge for each roll is going to be at base 2 purples and 1 red, making this difficult.
Okay, but no black. but no black. Okay.
The black will happen
And then
anytime. You'll get a
Okay.
black dice anytime you're being directly shot at yourself.
Okay. Just so you know, I can always remove one per rank, one black dice. Lastly, we're talking about. Are we talking system strain, like, or anything, or not at all? We're not talking hull trauma, right? What I'm repairing.
No, you're repairing the technological aspects of the system. So it's not really hull trauma or system strain. You're actually just fixing the drive.
Okay, no, thank you. That helps me figure out what my dice pool is. So thanks.
And then the rest of you who happen to be there, at the moment that this is going on, you also will start hearing ship proximity sensors. There are transports attaching to the hull and using fusion cutters to cut through, and there is going to be boarding parties. Anything the rest of you can do to keep Kip safe while he attempts to do what he's doing will bring you all to a better place. Let's put it that way.
Oh, and one last question. I realize I have a group of rebel technicians with me. Do they provide any bonuses to my role?
No, what we're doing for that, mechanically speaking, because of the difficulty of the encounter, is they are going to function similar to the squad mechanic. However, they are going to provide covering fire for you as long as they exist, meaning anyone who tries to target you is going to get setback dice on attacking you.
Sure. Okay. No, that
If
sounds
they
fine.
are killed or destroyed, that bonus disappears.
Okay.
Okay, so what I'd like everybody to do to start off is we're going to roll initiative. And in this case, you're going to be rolling vigilance.
Everyone?
Everybody.
Vigilance. Gotcha.
Make sure you do it from the initiative part of your main page, not just a regular vigilance check.
I see. Got it.
Yeah, otherwise it won't populate.
A blue dice from any
Don't roll
reaction.
yet. I forgot to add you to the initiative
Look it
tracker.
Oops.
Oh,
I'm three
you're making me
advantages.
waste all those 3 successes, man. Look at all that shit.
No. I had 3 advantages.
Just give me a heads up when we're ready.
All right, give me 1 second. Who do I not have
Everyone
yet?
but Kip rolled well. Kip's busy. He's
Kip
very
didn't roll
focused,
terribly.
and there's a lot of noise.
I didn't roll terribly. I didn't succeed, but at the same time, I have 3 advantages.
Are we clear to roll?
You're really in this.
All right, now you can roll.
So we should all roll again.
Yeah,
We have to roll again.
I screwed it up. Sorry, it
Hey,
was
I
my
rolled the
fault.
same thing, but better. Whee!
Sweet. I rolled way better.
Wow. Bior and Tyrus, right?
God damn, Bior.
It's good to have the brain boy back. I can hide behind your forehead.
He's actually been
Seriously.
shot in the forehead. The funny thing is, we were
7-foot
hiding
tall
behind
Wookiee.
rocks when it happened. So just
The
imagine,
7-foot tall Wookiee is going to hide behind the forehead.
My head is often misconstrued as a rock.
You know, the Wookiee could probably make a nest in your forehead, build like a Wookiee civilization.
Maybe Wookiee might think it's a tree.
It's a condo.
All right, now the way that I'm going to handle this, just for simplicity, since there's sort of 2 simultaneous fights going on, is we're going to cluster all the party slots on the ship together, and then we'll move to all the party slots on the frigate together, so we're not jumping dizzyingly back and forth.
Sure.
So, wow, one of the NPCs rolled a ridiculous result, so we'll... I'm going to start with the space combat. That is who will be going first. I'm going to throw the map up so everyone can see it. This is the long-range map. So it kind of shows where each of the major ship positions are, and I'm putting up this sort of shorter range map. Jensa, you have 3 squadrons of X-Wings with you. 3 wings, I should say. And you are facing against 3 TIE bombers, each having their own escort, a Ace TIE fighter, and then a minion group of regular TIE fighters. One of the TIE bomber squadrons who is going to basically use... he's not going to take an action, he's going to use 2 maneuvers, and he is basically just going to move as quickly as he can towards the Mon Calamari cruiser. Just to be specific, he is moving at a speed of, let's see, what am I going to set it to? 3. We are now at a party player slot.
Oh, can I go so we can just blast him on our way in?
However you'd like.
How are we using our ships? Want to use that attack advantage, right? Or did... I forget how...
I think we wanted to go full attack
I
because
agree.
ultimately we either have to blow these things up or lose. So
Yeah. Okay, good.
or lose the ship, I should say.
And what did that do to us? Okay, that's what I'm... All
Yeah.
combat checks. Gotcha.
Yeah,
Now
well,
remember,
but
you
there's
guys
no
have 3
combat check.
intact wings. If you have more than 1 intact wing, it becomes 2 boost dice.
I got 2. Didn't I have 2 boost guys? I know it's been a while, but I had 2 boost dice left over from last time.
I'm gonna have
to
remember
take your
that.
word
for
Yeah,
it.
To
you
forget
wrote that
about-
down somewhere.
We were told not to forget about it. It was because of some awesome roll.
I trust you. Yeah, I'll just say you have the 2 to use. Yeah.
I think, yeah, everybody had 2 boost dice from some...
Well, I think it you wouldn't have
No, it
2
was
for
just the
everyone.
ship.
You have 2 to use for out. Like
Yes,
you guys
2 in
can
the
use
pool.
2 total.
You're right, yes.
So I am going to sail in. Since this guy's kind of pulled out up front, I'm going to move that way.
Okay.
You
are currently at medium range. Are you trying to close into basically close range, or?
Yeah, I'm trying to pull in so we can just light him up on our way in.
Now your current speed is 3. Is that how you're keeping it?
I can actually. I have a ability, full throttle.
Okay,
To
you're going to
just,
use
like-
full throttle. Is that an action or a maneuver? Because that has all the full
Full
descriptions.
throttle. Make a hard piloting check to increase the vehicle's to top speed for a number of rounds equal to.
It broke up there. Number of rounds equal
My
to.
cunning.
Oh, your cunning.
My
Okay,
cunning.
so what is your cunning again?
2.
Okay, so if you choose to activate that, it's going to be an action then, correct?
Sorry, I had to scroll up to look at my cunning, and now I'm scrolling back down to look at my full throttle action. Take
Okay,
a
yeah.
full
So,
throttle action.
so yeah, you could take that action, and you'd be able to increase the maximum speed of your ship, which currently is 3. You'd be able to increase it to 5.
Do I need to go that fast, or can I just speed up? Like, where's the combat, ship combat?
Well, just to let you know, at 3 speed, at medium range, you'd be able to spend... you'd be able to get to short range in just using your regular maneuver with the one in front of you.
So I'd be able to shoot him, I believe.
Yeah,
with,
you could use your
guns.
maneuver
So,
to get
yeah.
to short
Yeah,
range,
we'll just,
and then you could...
we'll just do that then.
And what are you attacking, his escort or the bomber itself?
I'm going to use my 2 bonus dice to actually hit the bomber since he's out here without the majority of everybody. Does it look like that's plausible, or should I deal with his...
Just so you know,
Like,
what
how
it
heavy
means
is his
is your normal difficulty is, let's see.
I'm going to leave that to Ishwar then, if it looks like it's too crowded around him to get a clear shot, and I'll just hit his and I will not use the bonus die.
Okay, so what your difficulty is always 2 purple dice for you being the same silhouette. That is going to be upgraded 3 times, 1 for each of his intact TIE fighter escorts, if you're just going to fire at him through the escort.
No, I'm firing at his escort.
Okay, so you're going to make a normal combat check, which is 2 purple dice with your gunnery skill, and you get to add a boost dice because the TIE fighters they're more paying attention to staying with the bomber than they are fully engaging with you. So you get a boost dice in the attack against them, and you can roll that. Okay, so you missed, but you got 4 advantages. So how would you like to spend
those? Ishwar can have
those?
all of that. Basically, as I'm like zipping and weaving and trying to get around his escort, I have actually managed to pull a little bit of his escort off of him, possibly opening up a shot for Ishwar.
So, well, who goes next? That's my question. Is there a player?
So with a...
I'm thinking of using ignore penalizing. If
Sarah,
I would be able to ignore penalizing, would that reduce my difficulty upgrades by just targeting the bomber on my turn by using her advantage?
So I wanted to tell Jensa something before she makes that decision. Getting 3 advantages, Jensa, if you're the pilot controlling the ship, it could allow you to take 1 free pilot maneuver. I just wanted you to know that in case you wanted to do that. Otherwise, we'll just actually be able to give someone else 2 boost dice.
No, I want to give Ishwar the boost dice.
Okay, so Ishwar, you get 2 boost dice to whatever you're trying to do.
Okay, so I heard what you were telling her. I have to upgrading the difficulty of targeting the TIE bomber as long as the TIE fighters are intact. You said how many times?
3 times, 1 for each of his escorts.
So doing that does what to the dice? I know it upgrades them.
It is going to turn both of the purples to reds and then add 1 additional purple. So the total difficulty will be 2 reds and a purple. And you can add your 2 boost dice.
Shouldn't we get rid of the TIE fighter?
Okay. Well, yeah. Thinking that, but that takes turns.
Yeah, but then you could dump on the bomber.
But there's 3 bombers.
He has each of these ships have an escort.
Yeah, I didn't want to
Aside
clutter
from
the
the
map, but just know that they each have an escort.
Have an escort.
Screw it.
It's not on the map.
I'm gonna take a maneuver to aim at it, which would give me a boost dice, and I will attempt to start this thing off by targeting that bomber. So
All right,
I will
so
roll my
roll your gunnery skill, and then 2 reds and 1 purple, and 3 blues. This will be an interesting roll.
2 reds. No, 2 reds. No, I don't do that. Right? I just I do 2 purple, and then I upgrade.
You
Yeah,
press the red
you hit
plus
the
3
red button.
times, but the net result of that should look like 2 reds and a purple. That's what it will look like when you're
Okay.
done. Yeah.
There we go.
I just wanted you to understand the mechanics of it. Okay.
Yes.
Oh wow.
Oh my god!
I will.
Oh,
choose
how did
to
you do
critical
that?
it,
Okay.
And I will spend my three of those to make its weapon inoperable, and then I will spend the next one to give.
Look at us sharing the love.
I should tell everyone he rolled 2 successes and 4 advantage.
Somehow.
I will give a boost dice to her next attack.
Okay, and you are spending your 3 advantage to, let's see, dealing damage to an opposing vehicle. A shot temporarily damages a component of the attacker's choice rather than dealing hull damage. Okay, so that means
I can completely shut down his weapons, right? If I do that, or I can critical. So, actually, I think I'll critical, right?
Yes, crit.
Well, I mean, if you can shut down his ability to bomb.
That's what I'm
temporarily.
thinking. But he would
But
need
it's temporary.
that
But it's
round.
only temporary.
Oh, if it's temporary, then just crit,
Crit.
I guess.
But he would have to physically fix it. So
No, it just takes the system offline for basically the GM's discretion of turns. It doesn't render it
okay, well
completely
in that
broken.
case, critical.
Go to crit all day.
A critical and a boost dice to her next attack.
And the crit rating of the ship's weapon is what, 3?
3.
Okay,
Says
so we're
these,
gonna roll vehicle critical, correct?
Yes.
One component inoperable to the end of the next round. Huh, that's funny. It's actually like mechanically almost the same thing.
His engines.
All right, so he has a critical injury, a critical damage to his vessel. As you fire, you're hitting the engines, right? So
Yeah, actually, can I throw one more boost dice in? We forgot or 2 more boost dice because we forgot our TIE fighters.
Oh,
You
we
lost
He
did.
didn't roll his X-wing escort boost dice.
yeah, add those in, but in the future, if you forget them, you'll have to wait till the next.
Yeah, we
There you
should.
go.
I feel the
Oh, that's a double critical.
Yeah,
Take
it could be
double
actually.
Double crit.
Yeah.
wow.
This is the best one.
9 damage and double crit.
I'm gonna go ahead and say that that's all my good piloting right there.
All right, so you get to choose another component damage. Jeez.
Oh, what components does he have? Let me ask that. Does he have like a defense?
Isn't that
TIE fi-
additive though? Is he at 102? Is that it?
No, you add 10 to the next roll. So when you stack criticals, you see how it says plus 10?
Understood.
If
Thank
you get another
Wasn't
one, it
clear on
becomes
that
plus
rule.
20, basically. So
Gotcha.
he has 2 component critical damage attached. Basically, any of your ship systems, computers, engines, weapons.
I want his engines and his weapons down. He's
All
dead
right.
in water.
So those systems are offline. You see you see a flash on his twin ion engine drive, and you see it kind of like spark and flicker, and the ship just starts slowing down as Jensa, you're closing in closer on the Errant Seeker. And the result of the damage you got, so total damage is actually 9. The escort takes the hits before the target does, so he's lost 2 of the 3. He's lost 2 of his 3 escorts, so he's down to 1 TIE escort.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay, so the next NPC slot is going to be the TIE Squadron Minion Group. They are moving at a speed of 4. So this TIE group, we see a group of 3 TIE fighters. It is, 3 TIE fighters closing in, heading straight for the Errant Seeker. They have to spend 2 maneuvers to get to you, and they cannot yet attack. And that concludes their turn.
Can we
Next
bring up the
GM's.
vehicle combat chart, Alvin?
Shorter story.
Oh, sorry. I can just get it myself. Sorry, I don't mean to make you have to. Thank you.
Here, I brought up both of them.
So many windows.
Next, you see one of the other TIE bombers moving as quickly as they can, and they're attempting to just truck on by. We are now at a party player slot for someone on board the Errant Seeker, basically.
So, I am checking out the Ace TIE Fighter over here. They look like they're doing well against 1 bomber. So what I'm going to try and do is, I'm assuming that that's a leader, so to speak, and that he's trying to coordinate all the other groups, or at least, boost their morale. So what I'm going to try and do is just jam his communications so that if he is attempting to coordinate, it will take him out of the fight, or at least prevent him from advising his team and cause a little confusion.
The TIE Ace?
Yep.
Okay. So you're making, what is it, a computers check? Or
Yeah, it's just going to be a computer's difficulty 2.
Okay.
And then I get Codebreaker, gives me 1 boost. Actually, sorry. There we go. So he will have to make a computer's check if he wishes to communicate. And I did want to ask, like, a lot of these systems say 1 round for 1 round, but I think jamming, it doesn't say for 1 round. So what I'm assuming it means is until he unjams by making a computer check as an action or maneuver.
Yeah, I think that's fair, actually. I would say.
And then, oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I would agree. Until he makes a computer check.
And then, because I got 2 advantage, I'm going to jam communications on the 2 other bombers as additional targets.
Okay. The 2 closest to you?
Not the one that we hit that's dead in the water. The 2 we haven't attacked.
Got it. Okay, so I'll just mark those 2. Got it. All right. And let me just mark you down as you went this turn. Victor. Anything else you want to do? I guess maneuver-wise? I guess probably not much. Not much else to do on the ship at the moment.
Well, I could slice if I used my item. But,
oh, your data spike. Yeah, you could, I guess.
I think this is pretty urgent. I think I'm going to do it. I'm going to try and slice the TIE bomber that is on approach to our flank.
Okay.
So I'll burn a data spike.
When you use a data spike, it allows it to be a maneuver, and you also, does it change the difficulty at all?
Yeah, it should reduce it significantly. Let me check. Oh, it doesn't say. I think it's 2 boost dice. I have the data breaker active, so I'll get 2 boost dice on that as well. And to clarify, I want to slice the systems of its escorts to try and get them to erratically kind of maneuver around him.
Yeah, you get to reduce the
Maybe cause a little
difficulty
chaos.
by 2.
Alright, again, this is the escorts I'm trying to with. Okay. That means...
Well, before you
defensive
decide
zones-
that, let me just point out the escorts have no shields, like base TIE fighters have no shields. There's no defense. So you might want to spend that on a different target, either the bombers or the ace.
Alright, I'm gonna do it on the bomber that we haven't hit that's closest to us.
Okay, so he loses... Alright, so basically he loses his shielding. And you rolled 3 success and 2 advantage, so the 2 advantage you had to add a strain to that target as well.
Yes.
Alright, so I'm adding a system strain as well. Very good. Okay. The next NPC slot is going to be the last bomber. He uses maneuver to move, and he's actually... That's all he's going to do. He's not going to delay to attack. He's going to actually... he spends 2 maneuvers to get where he is, which is basically in short range with you. And lastly, the ace.
I feel like we're vastly outnumbered here.
We are.
Yeah. You think? I hope that Mon Calamari's got weapons on it.
Seriously.
He
no,
also...
it'll get blown up and they'll blame us.
They'll flame us. All right, so he's
they'll
going to
blame
spend
us.
2 maneuvers to get within short range of you as well. And I think everyone's gone on the starship, correct?
Yes.
Okay, we are now going to shift gears. We're shifting gears back on board the Rebel ship Tenacity. And what is happening now, basically, is you hear the proximity sensors going off, sort of a alert sound, and you hear a warning from the bridge. Commander Straith basically notifies you, "Look alert! We've got boarders coming on." And as you hear him say that, you hear these thuds. Oh, that's too loud. Sorry. There we go. You hear these thuds on the hull. In multiple places, and there's sort of this like sound where they're cutting. You can hear plasma cutters like sort of burning through the hull. And I'm going to open the map for you so you guys see where you're at. You are on the engineering deck. Okay, so this is where you guys are at. I'm going to drag your tokens on here.
That's such a cool map.
Look how big you are, Kip.
Kip.
Oh my god, he's giant.
Kip smash.
Yeah, Kip smash.
Bior, where are you at?
Kip smash.
Oh, I'm not sure, man. I was just.
No, you get to tell me where you want to be
attention.
on the map right now. Is what I'm.
Oh, okay.
What I'm telling you.
Well, where are they boarding?
You don't know yet.
Oh, okay. Then I'm right around Kip. Then.
Look at your pipe. I love it. And
Nothing like a good smoke during combat.
of course,
Amen.
he actually leaves the pipe in his mouth while he's fighting. It's amazing.
It
That's
calms
awesome.
his nerves.
L3, are you just next to them?
I just got introduced, so I would probably be next to Kip.
Oh my god, I forgot to introduce your art. How lame of me.
It looks awesome.
Okay. We're gonna pause for 1 second because this is too awesome to forget to talk about. Real fast, because you met L3T0, I want you to see what he looks like.
Well, we kind of met him.
Oh, we didn't. They did.
Yeah, they did.
Oh.
Still,
we don't get to.
Yeah, so there's this dude. Oh, no, just kidding.
It's not really
A droid. Well, I don't trust droids anymore. Not after what happened to Master Nguyen. I'm just gonna shoot him. No, I'm kidding.
Oh god.
we've already decided if he doesn't perform well enough, we
gonna
take
let
him
Kip take him for parts.
for parts.
Ah, the
Like
Jaws
this
is
whole-
playing a droid character.
This whole sentient, self-aware robot thing. It's a bad idea. I'm thoroughly against it.
Wait, they're way easier to understand than us meatbags.
Yeah, but then you get like murder, death, kill bots. Like
I
the
thought
one
you
we're
were going to
getting
say
ready
Wookiees.
Bring my people.
Okay, so everybody see this or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Nice.
L3, give us a little
It
narration.
looks like a Cylon.
Give us a little narration of your design decisions in the art here. Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, I always all the droids had kind of like humanish or like blocky features from Star Wars, and I kind of went into a different direction, yet still wanted to maintain the hallmark of that classic Star Wars droid design. So I kind of went with a blocky yet cylindrical head with a center-focused eye. So it's kind of like Cyclopean in nature, but at the same time, it still has all the little hallmarks. Now, for the chassis, like the torso part, I kind of went with an almost HK-esque design while still trying to keep the hallmarks of an almost protocol droid-esque look.
I like it.
Yeah.
I love the Cyclopean head. That's f***ing awesome.
Yeah, I
Did
dig
the
it.
same guy do this hobby?
What? You were echoing out there. Sorry.
Our artist?
That is Chalmer Relator, who has done actually all the character art for each of you guys.
Yeah, I am a fan now.
Yeah, he did a fantastic job here.
Yeah.
And tell us a little bit about how the Vibro sword works.
Yes. When
that's what I.
you guys haven't seen it, you might see it very shortly, depending on how this combat goes. But when combat starts, his eye is normally of a bluish color, but when combat
he goes
mode
like Cylon red.
it will turn red, and his hand actually will pull forward and grasp his forearm, and extending from the gap, the vibro blade will extend.
I like that. I think it's a good concept.
Yeah, I dig
Oh,
it.
and I see. Oh my god, I see that. He did that. That's really
I
awesome.
was actually about to comment about it before you did, but yeah.
It's on a hinge, so he'll grasp his own forearm to open up the compartment. He also has an almost RoboCop like thigh compartment to hide a small arms ranged weapon as well.
Sweet.
Right.
Yeah, I
Nice.
see it's open in the picture. Man, it just makes me wish I had time to do art again.
So yes, I think Chalmer did an amazing job. We kind of decided we want him to look sneaky and stealthy, considering his character concept. So
Is that why
they did a
he
great
has a
job.
kook?
All right, so what basically happens? You are in a party player slot. So what happens is the first thing you see is a breach in the hull towards the north of the map, and you see come tearing out of that breach 2 groups of stormtroopers that come running out, and behind them you see some form of officer standing behind the crate there. By the way, I did put some, let's say, environmental things on the map, like crates and fuel tanks, so just take note of those. Remember, you can use them for cover and things like that. So, all right, so as chaos starts to unfold on the engineering deck, as they immediately run out of the breach in the hull, they just start firing on whatever they see in front of them. This would be a party player slot first. You guys can decide who is going first.
I'll go first.
I'll go. Is it
Okay, go ahead. You're more likely to react.
Yeah, the things that are like those crates that are there are actually there. Like
that's a very existential question, isn't it?
Well, whatever.
There is
Yes.
no there
You get
there.
a large enough crate and like bulldoze like a squad of them with the force.
Oh, you mean to use your force move ability?
Yeah,
That's cool.
Yes. You absolutely could. There's Silhouette 1, so you can absolutely do that, and that's pretty
Alright.
freaking awesome.
All right, so the one that's like in front of the other ones, I want to just use him as the crate and push him into all the other.
Oh, you want to
Or-
pick up one of the member of the squad and throw him into the others?
Yeah, if there's a large enough crate, whatever will be easiest. The crate. That way there's
There's a crate right there.
You're referring to the crate immediately to our north, right?
Yep.
Or,
All right,
yeah,
so-
or if it's there, yes, that one. If not, any crate that I could use to
It's
just
there.
It is a Silhouette 1 crate, so Bior, what you're going to do is you're going to roll your 2 force dice first. Wow, and you rolled 3 light side pips. Okay. So, you can use basically 2 of the pips to pick up that Silhouette 1 crate, and now you just have to make a discipline check because you're trying to aim the crate at that group. So you're going to make a discipline skill check with 2 purple dice. And you rolled a success and an advantage. So, Bayard, narrate for us what happens here.
Right, so as the bulkhead gets out and we see all these stormtroopers start flooding in, my gut reaction is to either try to close the hole or just try to get rid as of as many stormtroopers as possible. So I outstretch my arm and I focus. You could see the concentration in my face as I pick up one of the distant crates and just smash it into them.
So as you chuck it through the air, as you lift your hand in front of you and you quietly focus your mind, you are just so in the moment without any panic or any sort of loss of control. You close your eyes, lift your hand. This crate, which is at least as large as you are, maybe not as high, but in terms of mass, you lift it off the ground and hurl it perfectly into that group of stormtroopers, and it strikes them, kind of creating chaos there. And the rules for flinging objects is basically the damage is 10 times the silhouette. So you do 10 damage automatically with that hit. This is Stormtrooper Squad. And they are a minion group, by the way. And I should clarify, it is a group of 4, not 3. I know the picture shows 3, but you have basically knocked 2 of them completely unconscious as their bodies go flying in 2 different directions, and you hear crushing sound, and they kind of land awkwardly and everything, and just sort of ragdoll physics.
Yeah.
And the crate tumbles, and the other two kind of stumble out of the way in time. You have a maneuver left if you want to do anything with that.
Well, yeah. I guess.
And that's what you can do with maneuvers if you want to refer to that. The left-hand column. Any of those actions.
Take cover, bro.
No, yeah. I'm way out in the open. Let me move my little character.
You are you want to move yourself closer to that group, or where?
Yeah, can I take cover? Is that a doorway?
Oh yeah, you could take cover. So you're gonna sort of hide from them.
Well, yeah, because we're gonna. I don't want to make a shot.
These blaster bolts be flying.
That is the most thing I've ever heard you say, Omar. Just kidding.
Dude, what are you? I'm normally a shot man.
Totally
We'd
kidding.
like
Totally
to
kidding.
survive to next session.
For real.
Survival's overrated. Okay, so the stormtrooper squad that you just attacked, they immediately start firing, and they fire. They can no longer very easily see you because there's actually 2 obstructions in the way to where you are. But they can see the group of technicians that are standing in front of Kip, and so they fire on them.
Poor red shirts.
Poor red
This will
shirts.
haunt Kip. Haunt Bior's dreams for years.
I was like, should have been a player character, son.
All right, so they open fire, and basically they kill 2 of the 3 technicians. You just see blaster bolts hit one in the face and the other one in the chest, and they just go flying down to the ground. And the last one is sort of in a panic. And this moves to a party player slot next.
I'll go. I say L3T0. You are an analyst, yes?
That is correct.
Please deploy the technicians to the best strategically placed choke point. Also, please take this frag grenade. I am going inside to work on the coils.
I love how calmly he says that. Please take this weapon of mass destruction.
I hand him the frag grenade, and I assume I can move here to work on the coils. I'm assuming these are the coils where I just moved myself.
You actually move to the correct position for what you need to repair first. Not being a novice to repairing systems on ships, you are well aware that the first thing you want to look at is the para-light system, which is in that computer terminal where you're standing right in front of.
Okay. And then
I've transferred that grenade to you, L3.
Thank you.
Yeah. And then do I assume I roll a... Well, I'm going to say, Remus, please assist me. And he deploys, and we start talking. And I say, what do you think we should do next? I think we should decouple this line here and reattach it over here.
He seemingly agrees with you.
Yeah, that was a lot of attitude, Remus. But okay, yes. Anyway, so do I roll a mechanic?
Okay, you have not been fired upon at this time, so you're basically rolling a mechanics check, 2 purple dice, 1 red dice, and you get a boost from Remus.
So hang on. So mechanic boost. I get 2 purple, 1 red.
And you get a boost dice from Remus.
Yeah, I got that. I'm also going to spend 2 strain points to use Master Artisan, which is a talent I have, and I can for 2 strain points I can reduce one of the difficulties.
Okay, so what that would do?
So how do I do that?
That would turn it into 3 purple dice. There'd be no red dice.
Okay, so do I just do the plus? Do I do a plus purple or plus green? Because that's what I already have a red dice.
No, meaning you take the red dice off and it becomes a purple dice. It's like downgrading it.
Okay, so got it.
So the
3
difficulty
purple.
is 3 purple, and then you add 1 blue. Okay, so you rolled 1 success and 2 advantage. So as you begin to get into the system and start to triage what's going on with it, you're trying to make sure the paralight drive, which is basically what is taking the information from the nav computer and running the calculations to turn it into a hyperdrive jump, you're starting to like reorder the damaged systems there. You have one success. Now your 2 advantage, there are no active hazards going on, so you spend your 2 advantage.
I'm going to reduce my strain by 1, right? I can do that?
I don't see it on there.
If not, that's okay. Yeah. We can figure that out later. Then, if that's the case, I'm going to give advantage to L3T0.
Okay, L3, you get a boost dice on whatever you're going to do next.
Got it.
All right, so Kip is hard at work, and that now opens up another party player initiative slot.
I think that's me.
Or L3, whichever.
Yeah, L3 hasn't.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought L3 already had it. Sorry.
I don't mind. You can go first.
No, I think L3 should go next because I'm plotting something.
Okay.
All right,
There you
L3.
go.
Well, I was ordered to follow Kip's directives, and Kip asked me to find the best places to place these more combative technicians, it looks like, down. So I'm guessing that might be a warfare roll or something to determine the best positions to place them.
So normally it would be a leadership check. However, if you're trying to... Are you trying to control the Marines below or the last living technician that's pissing himself right now, basically?
Oh, I believe Kip wanted me to move the technicians. The Marines, correct?
Yes, so
I wanted you to figure out to use your skills to figure out their most advantageous positions and then move them there.
Yeah, that.
So mechanically, depending on where you choose to apply them to, they will stay where they're at. They will basically provide covering fire against 1 target of your choice, and they will add 2 black dice to any attacks they make against your party, because they're being fired upon heavily.
All right. Okay. So do I roll anything, or do I just direct?
In this case, you will have to in the future, but I'm giving you freebies right now because you guys haven't invested in leadership. So you can just pick which target you want them to work on.
Well, I'd order them to cover, like, probably to my left, like my immediately left, that angled point up there. You see what I'm talking about? Yes, exactly. And then I'd probably order I'd probably order the others a little bit farther back in that doorway to the south of Kip. That might be distant, but I don't know where more holes are incoming, so...
And which one of the 3 targets above are each one of them applying the bonus?
Right now, given that the crate and other things are in the way of the left group, and I believe they're wounded down, so I would target the right of Stormtrooper.
Got it. Okay. So you still have an action?
Okay, I'm looking at my character sheet, I don't know how movement works in this game. How far can I go?
It's a maneuver. You're currently in short range. You spend 1 maneuver to get from short range to engaged. So from where you're standing, you'd spend 1 maneuver, which is your maneuver in this turn, and then you basically could engage either of the 2 stormtrooper targets.
And engage basically means like you're within a meter of them.
It means you're directly fighting them.
Right.
You're in their face.
All right,
And you should know as well, if you ever want to take a bonus maneuver in a turn, you can. You have to suffer 2 strain to do so. It's just sort of taxing yourself to get an extra maneuver.
Understood. Okay. I will probably head over to the left group of Stormtroopers.
You should be able to move your own token if you want to move it.
I will be moving here, I guess, this grid point. That's probably more accurate. Given that the Marines are covering the right side, I will finish off this group and then hopefully move on to the lead. Thematically, I'm guessing you see my hand unhitch and then grab my own forearm. The vibroblade extends, and the blue hollow point of my eye turns crimson as I engage these stormtroopers. This would be a melee?
You're going to open your character sheet just to run through how to do it. Go to the skills tab.
Yep.
And you have melee. You're going to double click the little dice next to that, and you are adding 2 purple dice. Plus any bonuses you were given. I think you got a boost dice?
You were given 2. You were given 2 boosts.
So then you just add 2 blue dice as well.
Nice.
Okay, you rolled a success and 2 advantage. So as you swing your vibroblade across, dragging your arm, you slash right up the torso of. Actually, you prefer piercing rather than slashing movements.
Yes.
Don't you? Okay, so you lunge forward and you drive it right through their left upper shoulder. Okay, so you did 5 damage and you got 2 advantage. You can spend those however you like.
Can I give them on to the next person?
Yes.
You can, yeah.
I will do so.
So what you basically did with this stormtrooper squad is you pierced that guy through the left upper chest. You basically mortally wounded him, and he collapses, drops his weapon, and falls face first to the floor. And there's only 1 out of that group of 4 still standing.
Understood.
The stormtrooper squad next to them turns and runs forward. And they open fire on you, Bior.
Yo, I can't get away from it.
They like you. Now, they're the ones that you are debuffing with your Marine group, right? If I'm not
correct.
Yeah, okay, so they have 2 purple dice on this attack. And they have hit you, and they're going to deal 11 damage. Do you have Reflect?
I don't.
Okay, no, you just have parry. Okay, so they hit you with blaster bolts, and you take 11 damage. I swear I'm not trying to kill you.
Well, isn't it less than that? Isn't it 7?
It is. You have 4 soak, so you take 7 damage. 7 wounds, I should call them, is more accurate. Okay, so Bior takes a hit from the stormtroopers, and we then move on to the Imperial officer who's up there. And what he basically does is he spends a maneuver to activate one of his abilities, Tactical Direction, to allow a group within medium range to make a free combat action. So with their additional combat action, the Stormtrooper group that just attacked Bior is going to open fire on the last remaining technician there.
Oh man. Poor guys.
And they miss. So they fire and miss. The technician is standing still in a puddle of his own urine with his hands over his head.
They
just
should be
crashing on the floor.
fired for ineptitude.
What are you talking
They're
about?
stormtroopers.
They're bucket heads. What do you
normal.
expect?
In fact, the ones that hit Bior should be fired.
Yeah, seriously.
Yo, for real.
No, they should be made generals.
And party player slot. Tyrus.
So behind the Marines, that curved object, is that a desk or something?
Yeah, it's a desk with some tools on it.
I am going to spend my maneuver moving behind that desk.
Okay, that is currently medium range from you, so you can get, halfway there pretty much. Like somewhere around here.
And then I'm going to activate my dueling wit, sending my lightsaber on to attack the Marines that are attacking Bior. I'm sorry, attack the stormtroopers. that are attacking Bior. Ooh, major mistake.
Yeah, no treasonous activity, please. Okay, so what I'm going to have you do, Tyrus, granted your party members present have no concept of what this is, so describe what it looks like, please, what they see.
Well, I recall the teachings of my cybernetic master, and the noise and the smoke gradually slow down until time has literally stopped. And I, in my mind, focus all my energy on my lightsaber. And slowly, as time is not even moving, a silver blade extends. And focusing my mind on the space in front of me, I send my lightsaber to viciously slash the stormtroopers.
So the weapon, literally leaves his hand ignited and flies forward, but instead of in a flipping motion like you might imagine a saber throw, it moves forward just sort of with the blade extended, almost in a piercing direction like a lance, and moves directly next to the stormtroopers. Now, Tyrus, we're going to have you roll for this, so I'd like you to roll your 2 force dice for your force power check. Now, you rolled 2 dark side points. Normally, that means you failed unless you choose to use them by, accepting conflict and using a destiny point.
I will accept conflict.
All right, so you use a destiny point, and you're taking 2 conflict to represent you reaching out to the dark side to fuel this ability, and 2 strain. But you succeed. Now, you need to roll for me your lightsaber combat check. So,
I also get to use willpower rather than brawn for my lightsaber.
Okay, let's make
as
sure.
a Neiman technique. So I think that gives me 1 more advantage of some sort.
No, you use, instead of rolling brawn, you use willpower.
Well, just roll on your... Let me just make sure I have it adjusted properly. Give me 1 second. So the lightsaber flies forward out of your hand, moves directly adjacent to the stormtroopers, who probably have actually never seen a lightsaber. And in shock, they're not sure what to make of it, but before they can even process what's going on, the blade flips around in an arcing motion and carves right through the first 2 stormtroopers, basically like cutting one of their arms off and slashing through the chest of the other, and drop to the ground, and the other 2 are completely stunned by this.
Things are just getting out of hand.
I'm stunned by this.
Out of hand. Get it? Get it?
Got it. This guy gets it.
Now, your weapon remains engaged with them, just so you know, because you didn't roll any... Well, actually you did. You can actually bring it back to your hand. You can spend that second dark side force point to bring it back to your hand, if you want to.
I'm going to leave it where it is for the moment.
All right. The 2 of those stormtroopers are down. Ishwar, I'm putting you as gone. I forgot to mark you on the map as having gone, so. Okay, so this closes round 1. There's no one who hasn't acted, correct? I'll take that as a yes. I'd like everybody to roll 1 force dice for me, please.
Oh my.
Ishwar, go! What? Yes, Tyrus. Boo,
Sorry.
I'm nervous.
Yay, Doom Clock.
Not Doom Clock. Ishwar rolled light side.
Yay, light side!
Yay, light side.
All right, so we have what? 2, 3,
Apparently I'm
4, and
unequal
2,
to a tie.
4, 5. All
Oh,
right,
wait.
so
We have
a
everybody?
tie.
Oh, yeah, Victor. Oh, boo. Defenders
If you're
win
breaking
tie.
the tie,
I always go to the players.
Players win ties. Woo!
That's it.
okay, so for a tiebreaker, who wants to roll 1 more force dice? Who's the luckiest one?
how about players win?
That's lame.
Let's let the new guy disappoint. I mean, roll for us.
Okay,
Frank,
yeah.
let's
Determine whether or
screw
not
this
you're
up.
getting scrapped into parts, Frank.
All right, you've seen me roll across 3 different games. You really want to do that? Fine.
No pressure.
Come on,
All
man.
on you.
You fail so often, it's got to be a success.
Oh! Okay, so the light side wins this roll. So basically, actually, you do not sort of advance the doom clock, and you're continuing the fight. We are now turning over to the top of the round, to the TIE Bomber, and let's jump back to our previous engagement. TIE Bomber is this one. Okay.
It has no engines and no weapons.
I did mark them out of order, didn't I? I can trade spots, so I'm gonna actually have the non-disabled one go first.
Oh!
And it is moving just right on past you.
Sounds about right.
Jensa, Captain Eosha.
So first of all, I think I'm gonna go first if that's okay. As
It
long
sure
as we're
is.
swapping slots there, G.
No, it's totally allowed for players and GM to swap initiative slot actors.
I will let the Wookiee know that I disabled shields on that one that just passed us. And
Okay.
while I'm doing that, I am going to try and slow down this ace pilot who I feel might do some damage. So I'm going to try and slice his systems.
Now, you're gonna wait, slice or jam? Wait, I'm trying to see what you're gonna slice.
I've already, I presume I've jammed him. I don't know if it.
He's already jammed. He can't communicate. Okay, so if you
Actually, I'm going to slice. This guy's got 1 escort left, right?
he does, yes.
Can I attempt to slice the escort fighters?
They don't have any defense to drain, so it wouldn't be... Oh, you could add strain, which would act as damage if you roll advantage.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I will try for that.
Okay.
It's a long shot, but it worked last time. Codebreakers 2.
Holy
oh my
God.
Wow.
Well,
6
That's a lot of
advantages, 1
defense,
advantage.
You know what? You've sliced his system to the point where he is completely unable to control the piloting, and he careens off out of formation in a random direction. And the TIE bomber is currently unescorted. Sorry, there's really no other way to deal with 6 advantages. I mean, six successes.
Right.
well, I mean, I could just like do the group, and by reducing defense, I'm basically just reducing the defense that the squadron is giving the TIE bomber for mechanic purposes.
It worked out. Now, TIE bomb. Oh, we're gonna jump back up to. Let's see. The next one is the TIE pilot, TIE squadron, and they are. Oh, by the way, what's your bonus this round for your squadron leader?
What was that, kid?
I say continue attack. Let's finish some before we
Okay, so boost
Yeah.
basically.
have some hull points.
So the
Yeah.
TIE fighter squadron is going to open fire on the first of your escort groups.
Shit.
All right, so they open fire on the first X-wing squadron, and you hear over the comlink as the wing leader kind of screams out as he crackles up, and you see one of the first volley. You see one of the X-wings just sort of get annihilated by the opening volley, and the second one goes down right behind him. The last remaining one takes some damage to his wing, but is still intact. And they move with their maneuver to move behind. And TIE Bomber number 1 can't go anywhere, and his weapon system is inoperable, so he's useless. And now, Jensa, it's your turn.
Okay, so just to be clear, the bomber down here is dead in the water, right?
He is dead in the water for the moment.
Okay, and how close is the one on the far right? Like, it's still a ways away from... Well, I guess he's like the next obvious.
He's essentially medium distance from you.
So the one bomber is completely dead in the water.
He can't use his engines or his weapons at the moment.
And does he still have any
His
No.
escorts has been completely annihilated.
You should finish him off.
Okay.
That's what I will say. Victor will say, take it out.
Finish him.
I will finish him, and then I am going to fly to catch up with the one that's kind of gotten further ahead. So. My
Okay, so
character
you're
sheet
making
is
a
under
combat
all these
check
screens somewhere.
Combat check against TIE Bomber 1 here. Go ahead and roll that.
I
Two
gotta
purple
find my
dice.
character sheet. There's too many screens.
You can double click on your picture again and it'll bring it back up.
Where's my picture? Is he one difficulty die right now, or
No, it's 2. In space combat, difficulty is always determined by your relative silhouette to each other. Alright, so you actually score 9 damage and a triumph. Okay. So as you fire your weapons, you manage to rake across the hull of the ship, and you can tell the shields are down because you see him take significant hull damage there. Wounds. So he takes 7 damage. That goes past his soak. And you can see he's barely holding together right now. There's sparks flying out. His ship is moving erratically. You can see gases venting from places they shouldn't.
I'm not worried about him, though. I want to go and catch up to the bomber that's kind of skidded.
Now, TIE Bomber 2 actually moves forward as well using 2 maneuvers. And the TIE Ace goes next.
Well, I can still move, so.
Oh yeah, go ahead and spend your maneuver.
Over here.
So you are going to close range. You'll be able to go to short range from him, so it would take 2 maneuvers to get to close range from where you were. So you'll be like roughly here.
Okay. And I'll take my squadron with me. Yellow meat shield and red body cover.
Okay, so the TIE Ace moves to intercept you. Let's see.
If he hits, I will barrel roll.
Star Fox maneuver. Pew-pew.
Do a barrel roll.
Yippee would be proud of you.
Blah, 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 blah.
Hey, Fox!
So he is going to open fire upon the Errant Seeker. And you guys have 1 defense from your shields. Actually, the way it works, just so you know, is you get to pick which direction the attack hits you from. You have a defense, a shield on your forward and aft. So I assume you're gonna angle yourself so he hits your aft shield, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he misses, but he uses his advantage to give himself a boost dice for his next attack. And he actually is going to use his ace pilot talent. Once per round, he can suffer 2 strain to perform another piloting action as a maneuver. Actually, no, he's not going to do that. Never mind. Because he doesn't have strain, so it would just be wounds, and I'd be killing him to do this. So, never mind. Okay, so that brings us now, I know, right? Down to Bior.
No, to Ishwar.
Oh, Ishwar, sorry. Go ahead, Ishwar.
So, this TIE Bomber with its shields down, I'm gonna suffer 1 strain to get a double maneuver. So I'm gonna double boost dice myself, and I'm gonna aim at the bomber with no shields.
You are too far away.
Are too far away?
Yeah, you can shoot at the one in front of you, but she's moved you too far away from the one that's dead in the water.
No, not the one that's dead in the water. The one that's in front of us. That's the one whose shields was down.
Oh,
Wait,
okay,
we didn't
yes.
kill the one that was dead in the water?
You killed the last TIE fighter that was guarding him. He's still there.
That TIE fighter veered off. That sliced its systems, right?
He's gone, so he has no escort, but he's still alive.
I thought she crit, like,
Nope.
with a...
She did, but he still has wounds left. So.
Oh, he's dead in the water. He's out of the fight for right now anyway. So I'll attack the one that's in front of us. So I will take the 2 boost dice from our X-Wing, 2 boost dice for aiming, double aim, and my laser cannon.
Wait, okay, yeah, you can double aim. Okay. Well, you're gonna have to take strain to double aim, by the way.
That's what I said. I took 1 strain. Yeah.
And you will be... Are you fighting his escort or himself?
Him, just directly.
Okay, so you're upgrading the difficulty 3 times.
Did so.
Alright, go ahead and roll it. That is the weirdest freaking thing I've ever seen. Okay, so you rolled a failure and a despair. And then you rolled like 5,000 advantages. So what, 3, 6,
1, 2, 3,
9
4, 5,
advantages.
6, 7, 9 advantages.
Okay, so first of all, you missed the attack. So that's the result of the failure. Now we have to resolve the inordinately large amount of advantage.
So, can I... can I remove all his fighters? Like,
No, that you'd have to damage them to do that.
me. I will add.
Yeah, you are basically. I mean, I think the only thing you can reasonably do is
Actually,
add a ridiculous number of boost dice to the next check. So
he
that's
gets 3 boost dice, and I can remove the strain that I just used. That's all 9 advantage.
oh, that's Kip. That's where the strain thing comes from. It comes from vehicle combat.
No, it's in personal.
No, it's in personal too.
Where is it here? I'm looking for it. I'm
The
not seeing
first,
it.
it's the first one. It's 1 strain. It's 1 advantage per strain.
Oh, actually, instead of removing the strain, can I notice a weak point in the ship's defenses? That is under vehicle combat.
Notice this single important point of conflict, or a flaw in the enemy's ship course, or a speeder's weak point. Yes, you could do that, although, frankly, it would have the same mechanical effect of giving you a boost dice.
Alright, I'll just recover the strain then.
So, you're in vehicle combat, so you're going to look on that list and tell me what you're going to do.
I'll give Victor a boost dice to his next computer's check. And Sarah gets 3 boost dice to her next attack.
Alright, so you guys remember that, because I won't. And the despair. Here's the fun part. Let's see what we're gonna do with that.
The fun part. Should have used the force dice.
Okay. The primary weapon system of the active character's ship suffers the effects of the component hit critical.
Eek!
The sparks fly.
Alright, so your turret is inoperable until the end of the next round. Because your aggressive
matter what I
Wookiee
do?
firing of that turret has completely shorted out the system.
Meanwhile, in the cockpit, do you smell burning hair?
Burning wires.
Exactly.
What is Ishvar screaming about?
Shoddy human work.
And now we move to the engineering bay, where Bior, you're up.
Before I had an advantage in a pool before I'd set that forward. Did anyone use that last turn?
No, I'm going to.
Okay, go. Perfect.
Sweet. So there's still stormtroopers left in front of.
There are, yes.
There's 2 left, or how? Yeah, there's 2 left, right?
Squad 1 has 2 left, yeah.
Alright, so yeah, I guess I jump out right and pull out my lightsaber and take a
Alright, so you ignite your weapon, Sirocco, and in a blazing orange, flaming scimitar-type blade extends from the hilt, and go ahead and make your attack roll against the stormtroopers. Difficulties 2 purple dice. Okay, so you scored 2 success and a threat. So
you forgot
hit.
to use the boost dice that you were wanting to use.
Oh damn.
Alright, use them next time. So damn. Okay, so you actually slice through one of the stormtroopers as they fall, leaving 1 remaining in that group. And you have used a maneuver and an action, and that brings us to Stormtrooper Squad in front of L3. They are panicked that you are in their face, L3, so they are turning to fire on you.
Are they considered melee or just ranged close?
They do not have a melee weapon, so they're just using rifles against you. So they're going to be getting a setback dice for firing at point blank range.
Also, on top of that, I have a dodge thing that is activated on an OOT incidental. Does that apply here?
The rules for dodge are, let me read that really quick.
He said OOT though, so out of turn.
It's an incidental. So when you're attacked, you basically can use it, but I'm just going to read really fast what dodge does again. Okay, dodge. When targeted by a combat check, melee or range, the character may choose to immediately perform a dodge incidental to suffer a number of strain, then upgrade the difficulty of the combat check by that number. The number of strain suffered can't exceed your ranks in dodge.
That would be 2 I would suffer.
Okay, so you're upgrading their difficulty twice.
Correct.
You little rat. Okay. Alright, so let's see. They do have a vibrio knife, but I don't think they would use it. Wow.
Jesus.
Surprising. Okay, so we rolled 5 successes and 2 threat. Let me just see one thing about that. Alright, do you have any other defensive abilities?
I have a soak of 5 and a melee defense of 1, that is it.
Okay, alright. So... Wow. So, okay, so it'd be 9... Something bugs me about that. Hang on one second. Okay, no, that is correct. Wow, they just rolled really well.
Did you include the setback dice for close range as well?
Oh, no, I didn't. There you go. Let's see if that helps you. It does not. Sorry.
That's fine.
Hope springs eternal.
I hate to give you hope, but...
So the last desperate stormtrooper, is it the last one? Yeah, it's the last desperate stormtrooper just sort of is depressing the trigger in desperation, and because you're so close, he just luckily is hitting you. That's a lot of wounds, actually.
Yeah,
It's a lot.
Wait, there's only one of them?
Yeah.
And he has 3...
He has an agility of 3, and he has
Okay,
he only has 1 skill left
makes
because
sense.
the other ones went down. So
Yeah, no. He rolled really well.
he just was lucky as hell. And then perhaps we should discuss about healing when it comes to droids. You have to use mechanics, not medicine, and force heal does not work on them.
We have plenty of that.
Don't worry about it.
All right, just pointing it out. And I will also point out, I believe you have an emergency repair. You have 5 emergency repair patches.
I do,
All right, so I don't.
which will be used.
Excellent. Kip Kalara, it's your turn.
It's my turn.
Kip, all hell's breaking loose. The ship is coming down around you. What are you gonna do?
Well, I have no clue because I'm assuming I'm in a room. I can't see any of this. But so I'm in front of the computer console. Is that where I need to be to do the actual repairs I need to do?
Correct. Until you get to the first 5 successes, you are here.
Oh, okay. Got it. Okay, we will do the same thing then.
Do you have any bonuses you can use to your roll?
I'm going to use those 2 boost dice that no one has used yet.
All right, I recommend doing that. And your difficulty, same as last time, 2 purple, 1 red.
And I'm also going to inadvertently tap into the force to spend 2 more strain to downgrade that.
What are you using there?
It's called Master Artisan. I can do it at pretty much every single turn.
Oh, it's not like a once per anything?
No, because I take 2 strain to do it.
Okay, all right.
Okay, so let's see. It's mechanics.
So it becomes 3 purple dice.
3 purple dice.
2 boost
I
dice.
have 2 boost dice, and then 1 boost dice from Remus.
Correct.
He's back talking me, but he's giving me good advice at the same time.
Okay, so... Okay, 4... Okay, good. So, 1, 2... Great. So, as you... Fingers moving furiously as you're pulling apart consoles, going through subroutines, putting things back together, the Paralight system actually gives you a indication that all systems are go. And what is your reaction at this success?
I turn to Remus and I say, apparently you were right, but I don't like your attitude. That's what I say. And then I say, Bior, keep them off me. I'm almost done.
And you're using your advantage to...
Reduce 1 of my strain. So instead of having 4, I have 3.
All right. Okay, and now we move to L3. After taking a flurry of blaster bolts, you are surprisingly damaged.
So, just for my own, because I'm looking at this board, because he's engaged with somebody who's using light and heavy weaponry, he actually gets a bonus boost dice to attacking.
He does, yeah, you do.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
very nice.
Nice, I did not know that. Well, basically you'd see an alarming amount of text scrolling past the red eye. And then like a systems voice going, systems integrity down 75%, 75% critical damage sub. So basically I can picture his torso now like a smoking, like almost ruin, and he'd stagger back a little, but he doesn't show any pain because he's a droid. And he would just go right in to finish the final stormtrooper. Which So I'm rolling the Vibro Rapier, and how many difficulty dice?
2 purple dice, then you get your boost dice.
And do it from your combat.
That's what I'm doing.
The boost dice either. That you had from last round.
All
Nice.
right. So narrate how you take down this pathetic stormtrooper.
I would L3 would approach like in a swift, almost very efficient manner and just pierce him right through the helmet in one of the eye sockets.
Ooh.
And then retract the blade immediately. Then can I still spend my maneuver to retreat?
Or use your emergency patch thing.
Oh yes, I will use that. I didn't know I could use that as a maneuver.
I'm not telling you what to do or anything, but you know.
No, I will use the emergency. And that gives me, according to
I believe it's 5 repairs.
actually repairs 3 wounds on a droid.
Nice.
Are you sure?
So I will, instead of like, having a separate patch, I'm guessing like out of the wrist of my other arm, like a little like blowtorch comes on and I do like a little series of repairs. Almost like how an astromech like repairs a like a fighter mid-action. Does that make sense?
It does. Does it really say only 3?
It says on the PDF that you gave me, it says 3.
Give me 1 second.
And if I remember correctly, you can only use like 4.
Okay, that's not correct, actually. I don't know why it says that on your thing. The first one of the day that you used repairs 5. The second time you use it in the same day, it repairs 4, 3, 2, and 1. So you get 5.
Okay, gotcha.
You repair 5.
So I get 5.
Yeah.
That's big for me. Thank you.
All right, so you are in much better shape now after your
Thank God.
little arc welding torch comes out and fixes yourself.
Self-preservation mode activated.
All right, so the stormtrooper squad that you that is in front of Bior is going to try and finish off that extremely annoying non-dying technician that they can't seem to kill.
That tech is a beast.
Quick, give him a name. He'll survive.
Ricky Redshirt. Damn it!
Oh, and they're still under the debuff that you get, and he misses again.
Yes!
He can't kill this technician who's literally huddled on the floor, like crying, and he's just point blank firing and cannot hit him. The Imperial Army officer turns and pulls his pistol and fires at you, L3, because you're close.
I will take another dodge action.
All right,
Another
so
2 strain.
okay, let's see, L3. There's the strain.
So I should
Okay.
have 4 total strain right now, I believe.
Yeah, I adjusted that, and then I'm upgrading the difficulty. Ooh, okay.
Jeez.
All right, so with his blaster pistol, he stays cool under fire, places his forearm in front of him, lays it over his forearm, aims, fires, and hits you right in the optical sensor in front of your face.
Ow!
So
Holy
let's
shit.
see. You actually you have 5 soak, right?
I have 5 soak, yes.
Okay, that's pretty good. So actually, you only take 2 wounds. But we have to resolve the triumph, which he's going to use as a critical attack.
Ouch.
So personal critical, he rolled, oh my god, 82. Okay. So you cannot voluntarily
I don't breathe.
suffer strain for the rest of the encounter.
Oh, that's not terrible. Well, I mean, it sucks. It does.
Well, it's no more dodge.
Don't
it
worry,
means.
L3. You will be repurposed for other uses. You will live,
I just
you,
took
you
down
will
a
live
group of
on.
stormtroopers by myself, okay?
And he spends a
Greater
maneuver.
good, L3. Greater good.
He spends a maneuver activating his overwhelming fire, which allows the Stormtrooper Squad 1 in front of Bior to fire again. And their frustration mounts, and they are just going to obsessively try and kill that technician.
Wait, how many of them are there, though? Didn't like,
Yeah, there's actually
Didn't
functionally
Tyrus,
only
like,
one
kill
left.
2 of them?
There's only one left.
Okay, gosh. Yeah.
Which is probably why he's not hitting anything, but you know.
Facing down a guy with his lightsaber, he's shooting.
Come on, Ricky. Let's go, Ricky. Come on, Ricky. Let's go, Ricky.
Oh, and he blows that poor fool away as the guy's head just detonates, as the blaster bolt just like destroys the last
But he has
technician.
a threat.
How do you guys want to spend the threat?
He drops his he drops his gun due to the gore that splattered on him.
Oh, no, how about
It's all over his helm, blast helm. So he can't see.
His visor is covered
I
with
just have him
the
fall into
You
my
can
like
force him
Ricky
to
blood
suffer one
everywhere.
strain, or you can have him lose the benefit of a prior maneuver, which he didn't really take. So he basically suffers another damage point.
Sure, that sounds good.
I can just see his gun overheating
Ricky's-
from all the missed shots that he's performing.
Ricky's soul haunts him for the rest of his stormtrooper career.
And then
Which is about like 30 seconds.
Well said.
he soils himself publicly.
unfortunately, at that particular moment, you hear another hull breach from the south.
No!
And a gargantuan Godzilla-sized stormtrooper. No, I'm just kidding. So the being that comes out of this hull breach is surprisingly large. He's at least as tall as Ishwar. We're pushing a little over 7 feet tall. You've never seen one of these before. It moves with a bizarre, deliberate nature, and he's carrying a heavy artillery type weapon, like a chain gun sort of, except like a chain blaster gun, the kind of thing like a heavy trooper would carry. You're not sure what this guy is. He has some kind of tube over his shoulder as well. He moves into the room from the south. He's not able to go yet, though.
I believe that would trigger the Marines down towards my orders previous.
You are allowed to redirect them, of course.
Well, they were watching south while the group in the north was watching north. They haven't added their disability dice to anybody so far, I don't believe.
They have not because, well, I think they're both disabling the one that is in front of Bior. You could change that though if you want to.
Okay.
Okay, and
I do so. Well, on my turn, I'll do.
Tyrus, it is your turn.
My maneuver will be to call back my lightsaber.
Okay, so Tal Shandir swings back across the scene, flies right back into your hand as you flip your wrist around, and you have it in your hand.
So my action was going to be to send it after the big boy.
Okay, so we're gonna do this again. You're gonna roll your force check first, two force dice.
Nice.
2 light side points, very good. You successfully activate the power. Now make your lightsaber skill check. 2 purple dice. Okay, so actually you get a net success and 4 advantage. So you hit. Your base damage is, let's see. Base damage is 5. And you have 4 advantages. Okay, so here's what happens. You flip your hand forward and Tal Shandir launches outward, goes right in front of the large trooper, slashes upward across his armor. But shockingly, there's something about his armor that is very impenetrable to the attack, and the lightsaber doesn't even leave more than just a blackened scar mark on the surface. It doesn't even cut through. The weapon is still engaged with him. You have 4 advantage. You can spend those how you like. So something kind of went in a way other than what you were expecting. He has very different...
I think I can negate the targeted enemy's defense bonus.
Yes, you can.
Does he have defense bonus?
I'm pretty sure he does. Yeah, he has 1 melee and range defense, so for 1 round that will be inactive.
Okay.
So this is one of those situations, if anyone was present who had, appropriate knowledge like warfare or something like that, it could explain more. But for some reason, even your lightsaber just had difficulty penetrating his armor.
So I'd like to use one other advantage to notice a single important point, such as the location or a weak point in the attack.
Oh, okay. Let's see what you can notice. Okay, so what you can notice is the weapon does... Your weapon attack, it's not that it was ineffective against his armor. You can tell that you just didn't strike deeply enough. So you've heard of certain materials that are inherently resistant to lightsabers, and from what you observe, the lightsaber was not repelled by it. So it's not that. It's just that the hardness of the metal is something highly unusual, and you just didn't strike true enough to get through it.
Can I reach out to the sentient presence in the lightsaber?
Tell me what you're trying to do exactly.
I'd like it to give me some advice on how to penetrate more effectively.
Since you have never actually successfully communicated with it, in the din of battle would be a poor time to try. There's too much distraction. You're talking about the passage of a matter of a few seconds. there's not enough time for you to stop and try and really commune with this.
Fair enough.
And he rolled an initiative such that he will not go this round, actually. So we are back to the top of the round. Let's everybody roll me 1 force dice, please.
Yes.
Look at me
Get
rolling
it,
lightsabers for a change.
Yes.
Oh my God.
No, I haven't rolled the light side ever until.
I went like 20 games without ever rolling one.
Yay! Roll 2 light side.
Yeah, buddy, we got this one in the bag.
Oh.
Maybe you're Doom Clock storyteller.
No, yeah, the force is with the rebels today. Okay.
No,
The
the force
fight-
is with us. The rebels are assholes.
The rebels just happen to be in our vicinity.
Yeah, the rebels are sucking up your
Jedi
prestige.
terrorists and rebels are scum. How is this not standard knowledge?
My restraining bolt says I would hope the Rebel Alliance has the advantage here.
My restraining bolt.
Okay, so top of the round. The TIE bombers are going to move away. I'm going to just change them to the other side of the map because it's easier. So they essentially are moving at their maximum speed, which is 4. They are attempting to move as far away from you as they can. And they are creating a greater distance away from you than you can close easily. And they are not going to attack because it would divert them. So this brings us to a party player slot. Who's going to go aboard the Errant Seeker?
I would like to go first, simply to aid Jensa by attempting to slice the defenses of the bomber that she is barreling down on.
The ones that are now farther away from you?
Whichever one she's pursuing to shoot her forward-facing lasers at. Lasers, she's flying directly at it. I'm going to try and take its shields down, giving her an opportunity.
Go for it.
I'm gonna yell.
I
up towards
fail,
the cop.
but I give 2 strain to the ship as an advantage. I do not reduce the defense, but you get 2 strain on the bomber.
Oh yeah, okay. So that is TIE bomber. That one already has strain as well, so
What are you gonna do your advantage for?
It's 2
he's
strain.
He's inflicting strain in the system, so he's basically trying to. The intrusion is kind of shorting out the system slowly, and their defenses are decreasing. So when it, just like hull threshold, when a ship gets to its strain threshold, it will literally just shut down and be dead in the water.
And he still has his escort.
He
Or one
does,
of-
yes.
Full escort or just?
They both have their full escort. Okay, the one that was previously dead in the water behind you, his engines come back online, and he begins moving
you
forward
kidding me?
again. Yes, it's for 1 round. And since you are in the general direction of his forward-facing weaponry, he is going to fire upon one of the previously damaged X-Wing escort group. Okay, so one of your escort groups is destroyed. As you hear screaming through the intercom as the wing leader kind of crackles and you see the ship kind of disintegrate. And the 2 previous wings start to form up with you.
You know, they could shoot too. That'd be nice if they would help.
That's what the boost dice represent. Remember, when you get boost dice, they add successes and therefore damage to your attacks. So instead of slowing down the combat by having 15 people make rolls, I'm just doing it
all
that
the
way.
bad guys are rolling. So
And it is now actually the TIE fighter group, the minion group. They are firing at your other squadron right here. Okay, so they get one success. So one of the 3 escorts blows up. I mean, you still have the wing, but one of the 3 of them is destroyed. And the threat, how do you want to use that?
all right, he's all
That's for
effed
you to
up,
decide, right?
We can use it.
You can use that, actually.
He's like a shot from death. Is that correct? Or
So you see how there's 3 in your little group there? Like each squadron, each little wing man has 3 units in it. You lost one of the 3 on the one behind you.
I know. I'm at the bombers, the one that shot at us.
Oh yeah, he has a couple wounds left that you haven't addressed yet. A couple hull trauma. I mean hull threshold, whatever you call it.
No, I'm gonna stay on target. So that will upgrade the ship's combat checks. Correct? Am I reading that correctly? Do I need to roll pilot or anything?
Stay on target. So you upgrade you get 1 extra green dice on combat checks, and then other enemies get 1 extra green dice attacking you as well. Think of it like you have blinders on and you're going after one guy and you're not defending yourself.
I'm gonna frickin' try to do something about this bomber. Also yelling profanities up at Ishwar about like the sounds of him screaming and the smell of smoke, whatever's going on with her. What are you doing up there? I am not a gunner. I don't want us to put skill points. I put skill points in some of the other things. There's too many windows. Ah.
Okay, so that... Oh, you did an action, and... Well, let me point out one thing, just before you make that final decision. You are the one controlling the forward guns. Ishwar could... I'll allow him to control them remotely, but, I mean, his turret is non-functional this turn. So if you want him to remotely control your forward guns, I'll allow that, it's fine.
So that means I don't shoot.
Well, one of you can shoot the one remaining weapon, is my point. But if you're going to use your action to stay on target, that's your action for this turn.
Oh, I thought you got, like, that's a maneuver.
No, it's... Oh, wait, sorry, it is a maneuver. My bad. Yeah. It's a maneuver, so
My
yeah, that's
maneuver
your...
is staying on target.
And then you can fire your forward guns. Yeah. And now clarify what your target is.
I could do
He's
something.
the better shot, but I have like a boatload of boost dice this turn.
Spend them.
Use them. Yeah, use them. I got something I could do.
Spend them on what?
Shooting. Shoot the motherfuckers.
But if I shoot, then you can't.
That's fine. I got something I could do.
You're a better shot.
Then, yeah, I mean, you have another action. You could boost the shields. Or no, you can do.
Wouldn't with all the boost dice make
Fire discipline. I don't know. Discipline check of 3 difficulty. I mean, if you got nothing else to do, it's. I mean.
Yeah, I guess I'll try a fire discipline check. Let me see. I think I have. I do not. I have it in class. Oh, I do have a rank in it, so better than nothing,
go.
right?
Yeah.
Alright, so you make a hard discipline check.
And I've got, what, 4 boost dice? I've got 2 from Victor and 1 from the type, or our wing.
Yeah, 2 boost dice. Well, this isn't a combat check. This isn't a combat check, so you don't get.
Does it have to be a combat?
No, but you get 3 from me from all my advantage. So.
So 3
yeah.
boost dice and hard to.
Roll it.
I'll let you use those, yeah.
I mean, you give him a boost dice no matter what.
So do I get the boost from Victor too? Because that's more boost dice.
No, I just did strain damage. I didn't provide any boost dice.
Hey, I got an excess and 2 advantage. You can take those advantage.
All right, so with the
Ishwar?
success,
And you have the gun.
you get an extra boost dice to your next gunnery check, and you can spend the 2.
I am basically like lining right up on them, staying on target. I'm swishing through as much of his entourage as possible to try to give you your shot.
Okay.
On B-ball.
On my turn, I'm just going to aim for his escorts and try to eliminate them. So when my gun comes back online, we can just annihilate them. So I will use the gunnery.
If her turn is done, next is the TIE Ace. And then you'll be the last actor after that second TIE Bomber. Alright, so the Ace is going to try and pick off that damaged group that you have with you, your escort group. And he completely annihilates, actually, the second wing, as once again you hear your comms crackle as screaming as your gold wing is annihilated. And he
1 boost dice.
closes in closer to you.
It's like
from
we're out
behind.
here alone. I feel like the way that the Millennium Falcon feels like in the movies, only like reversed, where they like shoot at something twice and it explodes. That's everybody around us. We shoot at things like 75 times and they're still going.
Okay, and the other TIE Bomber moves further away, trying to outrun you. And that brings you to Ishwar.
Okay, so I literally have nothing to do because that's out of range now. So waiting for me to use the controls was not a good idea. There's nothing I could
right after me.
Since
So
you have a
that-
360-degree turret, you can fire at the TIE Ace behind
But
you.
that is what is broken.
Oh, whoops, you're right. So yes, no, there is actually... What's
When
the
you
range on your
advised her-
forward-facing guns?
Yeah, that was I should have just shot.
Wait, so the Ace and the Bomber go before the next player?
Yeah.
Okay.
Bior's spot was the one that was mislabeled for Ishwar, so it's like this next player slot would be Ishwar, which technically, I suppose he has nothing meaningful he can do at the moment.
Well, that's why I wanted. Well, can she get her attack then?
If I had known that,
You
I would have
advised her
shot
to wait.
instead of fire discipline.
Yeah.
All right, I will allow it.
But you're the one who suggested that she wait. It's not fair.
I mean, realistically, they're pursuing starship to starship. Like, they're not stopping the other guys moving, and then their ship gets to
No,
go.
you're right. The movement is
in real
constant.
time.
Yeah, but since it is turn-based, you have to factor that in. Yeah, we'll say you made your shot before he started to move away, so he's the target that you're going to
so
be
I
hitting.
have 3 boost dice, and it's normal.
Yes.
Okay, so wait a minute. Who are you firing at?
His escort.
Okay, all right. So
I have 4 successes and 2 advantage for this.
ship damage is 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so you did 9 damage and you have 2 advantage, and that's again against his escort. Okay, one of the 3 escorts obliterated. The second member of the escort
That's a free
severely
maneuver. You
damaged.
could catch up. You could leave all these assholes behind and make them have to double move to catch up to us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Push it.
So you get a free maneuver, correct?
Yeah.
All right, what I will do is I will do what I was trying to avoid doing before. I'm gonna actually
We're just like sailing back and forth across.
yeah.
Can anybody actually see the map other than us? We could leave it Mind's
Yeah,
Eye
I know.
Theater.
Okay, and now this brings us back to engineering deck.
Now it brings us back to Ishwar, who will use a mechanics check to.
I mean, are you negating your fire discipline, or?
No, that's did nothing. She used fire discipline instead of attacking because you suggested if she did that, I would be able to attack, and I did not get to attack.
I'm the one that rolled.
That's why she attacked.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're just pretending fire discipline never happened.
Yeah, we never used its
Exactly.
Right.
Okay, so Ishwar, what are you gonna do?
I am going to attempt a hard mechanics check to add 1 defense to the back of the deflector shield.
What is that? Manual repairs, or what is that?
Boost shields under starship actions.
They could just hear a bunch of like
go for it.
Wookiee yelling and like see Ishwar like sliding down the little ladder, like ripping the floor plate off and starting to like hit something with a wrench. And
Oh fuck!
Okay, so
yeah, that's exactly what he's doing apparently.
He hates losing.
Boost dice.
He
2
fails.
failure and
Man,
1
Kip
threat.
is
So
gonna
the
be
ship
pissed
actually
when he
does.
sees that shit.
The ship actually still does suffer a system strain, but it's not a big deal.
What are you doing back there?
All you hear is the Wookiee yelling. Sound effect set.
All right, now it's Bior.
Okay. Skip it.
Victor, what is he doing back there?
Bior,
Are
are you there?
our slots interchangeable too?
They sure are.
Should
L3,
I
I'll
go
let you.
first
I'll
so I
let.
can
I'll let one of your other ones go, and Omar might have stepped away. So.
Okay,
No, no,
so
no. Oh my bad, I'm here. I was in it.
can any of us direct those troopers? If so, I don't need to go.
Yeah, you can pick which targets are debuffed by them. Yeah.
All right, then if you can do that, go ahead.
So there's still the 1 stormtrooper in front of me.
The 1 lone stormtrooper in front of you.
Can I command the troops to attack the giant robot and still attack the stormtrooper?
You can command them to lay down suppressive fire on the large guy back there. Yes. They're not attacking him and doing damage. They're debuffing him so that whenever he tries to attack you guys, he has a harder time hitting.
All right, so I direct them to do that while I attack the lone stormtrooper.
Okay, make your attack roll with Sirocco. Oh, he's dead. Your Triumph alone instinct jibbed him, so you slice him in half with Sirocco as flames are melting his plasteel armor as his 2 halves of his body fall down.
Damn it. By any
that-
chance, in the midst of this, can I still use that triumph?
Yeah, I guess you could, because you did 7 damage. Wait, he has how much soak? 3? Oh, it wouldn't kill him if you did that.
Damn it.
Yeah, he has 5 soak,
well,
so
can I
it would
kill
have.
him?
I would use the triumph to get him out of here, because otherwise he's going to keep shooting at you.
Right,
and
right,
remember, he can shoot twice because of the Imperial Army officer.
Right, so I want to get rid of him, but is there a chance that I could do a warfare check to analyze the robot?
Yeah, sure, I'll allow
See if
that.
I can find a...
So knowledge warfare, and it would be, in this case, a hard difficulty.
So 3 purple.
Yes. Okay, so, Bior, in your travels, in your prior experience acting as a bodyguard to famous individuals, you have heard tell of these things. These are dark troopers. You know they're not actually organic creatures. They're droids made to look like a stormtrooper, and they are made by an extremely rare element armor called frick. So it's probably one of the hardest metals known to species in this world. They were a top secret program by the Empire, and they are instruments of intimidation and fear. You know that the thing on his shoulder is actually a missile tube that he can fire a rocket out of. And those kind of guns that he carries, those chain guns, can auto-fire and basically annihilate groups of people.
So his armor in reality doesn't really have any weak spots. It's just resistant.
He has a high soak value.
Right. Well, I communicate this on the comms to whoever's in my party about the droids and the frick armor. And I actually, if I could take a maneuver to run closer to the captain, not the robot, the captain guy.
Yes, you could do that.
Hold up. That would be my entire.
That would be the conclusion of your turn right there. And that brings us to the Dark Trooper's turn, who briefly looks to his left and locks eyes with you, Tyrus, for a moment, kind of considering whether it's worth attacking you at this juncture. He turns away from you and he notices the group of Rebel Marines in front of him, and he levels his chain gun at them. And he makes... Whoa. A little loud, sorry.
That was awesome.
Apologize for the volume.
It's appropriate because we're getting our butts wiped. Whipped. I'm tired.
You can wipe it, it's fine.
11.
He gets 2 black dice because of the debuffing, and he is going to open fire. Alright, since he scored a triumph, he's going to activate his auto fire. So he does 13 damage, which takes out 2 of the 3, and then he gets the second hit with auto fire for another 13. So this group of rebels are mowed down in one violent spray of blaster fire. And then he starts to move towards the room where Kip is in. Kip, it is your turn.
What is there left to do?
Okay, so you have completely fixed this area. Next, you would know the hyperspace motivator needs to be fixed, which is where those coil-shaped things are. Here, I'll draw it. This here, or this.
I don't see anything coil-shaped.
Yeah, the generators.
You see the black circles that I drew on the map?
Right above the Rebel Marines.
Oh, right. Okay, sorry, I was looking in the wrong place. Okay, yeah. So Kip, how many maneuvers do I need to get there?
2 maneuvers to get there. You could take 2 strain to get 2 maneuvers, and you'd still have an action.
Okay, he will do that.
Okay, you can move yourself to whichever coil you prefer, and you have your action.
Okay, and so I have how many difficulty dice is that?
Same difficulty. 2 purple, 1 red.
I'm going to again spend 2 strain to downgrade that red.
Okay, 3 purple dice.
Yeah, let's see skills. So mechanics, and then he gets 1 purple dice from
1 blue dice.
Remus.
Yeah.
And then 3 purple dice.
What?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Ooh. Okay, so you are unable to no net failures, so you don't lose any successes, but you're unable to make any progress in the repairs at this time.
Sure.
And that brings us to L3.
I'm probably going to go immediately for this officer because I don't want any of his bonuses being conferred to the giant. So I will maneuver over here, and I will make another vibroblade. Is this too difficulty?
It is, yes. You get a boost dice because he's carrying a blaster, and he's firing. He's the ranged attacker. All right.
If that's not enough to kill him, how does the destiny point system work?
You have to declare you're using it before the roll, and it lets you upgrade the roll, basically. You push the green
No,
plus.
I wanted to activate ability, which takes a destiny point.
Oh, what ability?
Soft spot.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so you get to add damage, correct?
Yes.
Equal
After
to-
making a successful attack, may spend 1 destiny point to add damage equal to cunning to 1 hit, which is another +4.
Oh, wow. Okay, so yeah, tell us what happens with this attack, because you are precision striking him.
Basically, L3 is all about precision and neat, efficient methods of dispatching his opponents. So he would just surge forward. Actually, he'd probably say, after the shot that the officer gave him, down to 50% integrity, auxiliary systems offline. And then he would just surge forward with his rapier and just pierce him straight through the heart. And from the other side, Bior could probably see the very tip with the thinnest trickle of blood coming out of his back before he retracts it in a smooth gesture.
So, although you try and pierce his heart, he pivots slightly out of the way, and you drive it straight through his shoulder and out the back. And he screams out in agony and pulls himself backwards as he draws the blade back out, and you see blood pour down and soaking his uniform. He is moderately damaged.
You see the metallic rims around his central eye unit droop a little bit, like he's disappointed in himself. So inefficient.
So the Imperial officer looks basically at his foobar situation at the moment, and he spends he actually knowingly takes 2 additional wounds because he doesn't have strain, so he's a rival. And he is going to basically spend 2 maneuvers to run. I have to add his wounds. So he's bleeding as he's trying to desperately swing and roll and run away from you. You see a blood trail leading around the corner as he's limping, holding his shoulder. And Tyrus, it is your turn.
I, as my action, want to attack again, but I want to spend a destiny point to upgrade the roll.
Yes, get him.
So when you populate your roll, you basically hit the green plus on there once, and it'll upgrade it automatically for you.
Also, is there any point to doing an education check to see if I can figure out anything that would make a weakness that I could...
If you want to use it as an action in place of a combat check, you can do that. In terms of it...
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't know if that's worth it at this point. And are you using the dueling wit, or are you going to close and attack him in melee?
Is there any advantage to being close?
Well, theoretically, if you roll really badly on the force check, then you fail the whole attack. So, it's just... You have to succeed 2 checks instead of 1 to have your lightsaber fly somewhere and attack someone,
Okay, I'm going to still keep my distance.
You don't want to give him a hug?
So do I need to add purple dice?
You will be adding 2 purple dice. You do have to make your force roll check as well. So you're at 2 force dice.
Oops.
Okay, so you rolled 1 dark side, 2 light side points, so you succeed. And go ahead and make your lightsaber attack check. So use your lightsaber skill, 2 purple dice. You get to upgrade it once, so hit the green plus. Well, that's yeah, okay. So you rolled no net successes and 2 advantage. So even though you flinged Talshindir forward, he sees it coming and he pivots his chest slightly, and it flies right past him and swings and misses. And then, are you calling it back to your hand or leaving it engaged with him?
I have a maneuver. I might as well call it back.
Okay, so it swings back around him as he ducks and looks at it again, and it flies back into your hand. You do have 2 advantage.
I do have 2
advantage. So you can perform an immediate free maneuver. You can add a setback dice to the target's next check, or give a boost dice to one of your allies.
I think a setback dice to the big boy's next check.
Okay, so he has 2 setback dice then. Now, this closes out this round, and we're actually almost at 11 o'clock, so this might be a good place to pause it for now. I will say, however, that once again, you hear the inordinately loud alarms go off as you hear an alert from the bridge that the bridge has been compromised by a boarding party. And the commander and the bridge team are under siege. As it stands currently, you have 5 out of 15 successes to repair the hyperdrive. I'm going to have everybody roll a force dice right now to see if the doom clock advances.
Sure, rolling bones tonight, man. Getting all the lights up. Except for target.
That's another tie, is it?
We're missing one person, right?
4. 1, 2, 3.
No,
Oh, no.
right now
Lights
we're
got it.
success white.
Lights got it.
Oh, wait. 1, 2, 3,
Jensa.
4, 5, 6. Jensa didn't roll.
Benson needs.
I'm about.
Damn it! Now it's a tie.
Now it's a tie.
No,
All right, who's rolling the tiebreaker?
I've rolled so many light side dice. The chances are against me.
I did it last time.
Well, okay. Gambler's
I made the
fallacy.
tie. I'll try to break it.
I'm rolling it right now.
Oh!
Look at that. It's a dramatic failure.
Wow.
Thanks.
Okay, so the Intrepid Will is closing the gap as the 2 capital ships begin to engage each other with their weapons batteries. And we're gonna call it right here, and we'll pick
You know
up
what,
exactly.
Guys, in this space fight, we've been rolling really freaking well. It is not our fault that this is not going well. This is an Imperial fleet.
Do we need to resolve conflict?
We do actually. And by the way, Ishwar,
Yeah.
Mr. Ishwar, I don't know if you took notice of what the Dark Trooper was. Do you remember your talent tree for your armor?
Oh yes, yeah.
I'm just
I
saying.
think-
I am just saying.
Wait.
You were fretting about wherever we would find some of these things, and apparently one found you guys, so.
Okay.
Don't worry if that doesn't make sense to the rest of you.
No, it does. Like at this point, in character, defending this Mon Calamari seems like not gonna happen.
All right, guys. Was fun.
15th it is. You guys have a great night. Good session.
buddy.
I think the only one who needs to resolve conflict is Tyrus, so go ahead and roll a d10. All right. So once again, you rise above your conflict and you raise in morality 2 points. Actually, you're getting close to Lightside Paragon, aren't you? That's interesting.
conundrum.
Tyrus here, inadvertently becoming a good guy.
Don't let it get around.
You have to start role playing, being nice and like meditate. Meanwhile, I'm like slowly eking towards the dark side because every time I get conflict, I just roll badly. All right.
Good
All right,
game,
guys.
everybody. Thank you. Have a great night. And that brings us to the close of our episode tonight. Don't worry, there is more hijinks to be had with the Empire. Within a couple weeks, we should have our next episode up, either right after Christmas or right after New Year's, depending on how crazy the holidays are for us. In our next episode, you will see the exciting conclusion of this large-scale combat and its effect on our heroes, and in particular Jensa. We hope you have a great holiday season, and we will see you soon.